Okay.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this session episode of We Are Bringing the World to You. Today, my guest is my dear friend. Actually, I think she's my adopted daughter, Jenna Sanderson. Hey, Jenna, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It's great and always wonderful to see your lovely face. And when was it that you were at Westminster Shores? Because I remember you were visiting and came with me.
That was in December Christmas break. So early, probably December 15th-ish
That's
around.
right. You know what? I thought it was a year and a half ago, but this weird time is really kind of like warping everything, right?
Oh,
So that's true. And you came with me. And yeah, I remember walking around. I introduced you to Ashley and to some residents, and they all thought you were one of my students. Yeah.
oh yes, that's right. Yep.
Remember?
I got a nice little tour of the place.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know the place we're showing this video, this conversation, and I'm so happy that you are joining us because where are you right now?
I am in the Great White North. Not
Yeah.
really, but, so if you know where Toronto is, it's about 5 hours north of Toronto.
Yeah.
But I'm in a little town called Temagami, and actually right now we have a place on what's called Bear Island. So the lake has lots of cottages. Bettina, like I'm sure many know, has a cottage up here. So we're on one of the many islands up here.
Yeah. And I'm so excited. I haven't seen your place yet, but I will this summer. So that's going to be great. Great.
Yes.
So Jenna, let's start with the situation. We're going to come a little bit and talk about your life and as a student, what happened during this time. But tell us a little bit about the time, the COVID-19 time in Canada. Do you have some dates for it's like some data for us? How does it look up there?
Well, I have some numbers here regards to deaths and confirmed cases. So in Canada overall, there have been 88,468 confirmed cases.
Uh-huh.
And along with that, there have been 6,873 deaths. But in terms of Ontario, there have only been 2,155 deaths and 26,000 confirmed cases.
Wow.
So,
And that is so low. I mean, considering that Toronto is in Ontario, and Toronto's is it the biggest city or one of the biggest cities? I don't know.
yeah, I'd say it's one of the biggest cities. Definitely the most condensed populated out of the
So,
area. And Ottawa. Ottawa is very
yeah. So,
populated.
Jenna, that is a very low count, very, very low count. You know, I just heard the United States, I think it was yesterday, had reached the number of 100,000 deaths. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that's very, very different. But we don't want to go into that too much right now. But so it's a really low number and for you in Ontario. Yeah. Jenna, what about where you are, Temagami, that area? Any cases there?
No cases in Temagami. I mean, we're a pretty small area, but up here, like I said, there's many islands and stuff, so there's not people aren't as condensed. Whereas the city, like you're seeing people all the time. Up here, it's easy to get away from crowds. And for instance, when we have to go in town for groceries, we just we go to New Liskeard, which once again isn't that populated, so it's not as intense as a big city would be, but we just do the precautions with the gloves and the masks. And
Yeah. Now, do you have to do that when you go into a grocery store? Is it mandatory to wear a mask or is it the discretion of everybody?
you're recommended to, but it's not mandatory.
Yeah.
So some stores, like there's a drugstore in New Liskeard where they actually will ask you a couple questions before you go into the store, and
Oh,
they will take your temperature.
Oh, in this, wow.
Yeah, if
That's,
any red flag comes up, then you're not allowed in the store. And so there, many places are taking good like measures.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I know here, I'm surprised when I go into a store how many people are not wearing a mask. But it's not here again, it's not mandatory, but recommended. And a lot of people do. In Germany, for example, when they opened up a little bit, they won't serve you. They won't, if you don't wear a mask. Everybody has to wear a mask if they go into a store.
In
So
Germany,
in
everywhere.
Germany, yeah, but again, it's very densely populated, and
Right.
they're very, very cautious. Yeah. So tell us about, so you're on Bear Island. Tell us more about Bear Island, please.
So Bear Island it belongs to the Temagami First Nation. So it's a reserve for the um, Aboriginal people, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And we're a little community up here. And since we don't, oh, wait, sorry.
So talking about Bear Island, Jenna, you probably remember that actually I conducted an art camp there for 10 years. Remember that?
Oh, I remember.
And you were part of it. You were a little kid. Yeah, it was so great. You and Sophia, and the residents know Sophia's my daughter. I still remember you running around together, and it was wonderful. So really, I have a very special relationship with Bear Island. And remember, the program was because we wanted to integrate the people on the lake, the summer residents that are only coming in the summer, then the kids that live in the little town of Temagami, and then the kids that live on Bear Island, because they were all kind of separate and they didn't really know each other.
Yeah,
Remember?
art camp just brought us together, and I'm actually best friends with the girl I met at art camp. So
That is right. Allie and you met at art camp, right?
yeah, and
That
we're
is
still friends today. Yeah.
that is so cool. That is exactly what we intended, that the kids know each other. And then when you're grown-ups, you know each other. And all the prejudice. I remember prejudice, like people in town were thinking, oh, the summer residents come and they pollute the lake and then they leave and leave us with it. And yeah, everybody had prejudice against each other. And
There
so
was barriers between, and art camp kind of knocked those down.
yes. And I remember Alex. Do you remember Alex? Alex Paul, I think
Yep.
is the last name.
Yep.
So I think his dad was the chief of Bear Island for a while there. And I remember him saying he never knew anybody when he came into town, and went after art camp, all the kids were running up to him in the grocery store saying, hey, Alex, how are you? So great to see you. So anyway, I have a very special
You made
bond with Bear Island. So so how did you and your parents, I know, just bought property on Bear Island. So how is that possible?
Well, we actually bought this October. So my mom's mom is First Nation, and she belongs to the Temagami First Nation, which has a community here on Bear Island. It's
Yeah.
about 250 people, so we're all here on the island.
Wow. Say that again. How many people? 250?
250 residents here.
Wow. But the
Yeah.
island is pretty big, actually, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely lots of bushland, but we have lots of space here. We're not condensed. We're.
Right. Yeah. And I know you have a great lake view, and I can't wait to see that. So you were able to buy because your mom is a member of the First Nation, and actually she is the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer of the band.
She is, yes. So her office actually is right next door, so it's perfect. She can go to lunch and then go to work, come home for lunch, and
That's great. That's so wonderful. And Jenna, one of the things that's really unique, I mean, it's unique enough to live on an island like this, but what's unique is when you're on the island in the winter, it's frozen. And
Yeah.
I remember being there, and we drove, your mom and I drove the car from the mainland over to Bear Island. So what happens when the lake, like when
So
summer comes? What happens?
speaking about breakup, so since I had to come back from school in March, I
Yeah.
actually experienced breakup here on the island. So I first, when the lake was all frozen, I was able to go out, go skidooing, cross country skiing, all those activities. And it's different being up here from the city because I'm able to go out and do these things because, I won't see any people.
Right.
But once breakup starts, you're either on mainland or you're on the island, and there's no getting off for about 2 weeks.
Wow.
I have a video of the degradation of the ice. That's pretty cool.
Can you show it to us?
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be great. I've always wanted to be there during breakup. That must be so cool. I heard that it sounds sometimes like gunshots
it
go
does.
off.
The candling ice, when the sun beats down on it, it just like candles, and you get ice, like icicles almost like this long, and
On the lake.
yep.
Wow.
Here's the video here.
Oh.
So every day I took a video or a picture.
Oh, okay. That
Just
is,
you can see the
wow, beautiful pictures. And that's all from where you are right now, right?
yeah, right
Yeah.
on the point. So it took about 2 weeks this year to go out. So it was a slow breakup, but me and my mom made it through.
Oh my God, that's so great. So you mentioned earlier yet you came in May. So you were in school in Guelph at university, right?
Yes, University of Guelph. Yeah.
What's your major?
It's bioresource management, environmental science. So what it is business with science kind of combined.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like environmental studies is important in this day and age. So that's my
Very.
right now.
And it's a good profession to go into because that's what we need in the future, right? So you were in school and tell us a little bit about what happened then.
So I was in school. I actually remember I was doing a big group project on a Thursday, and we were sitting in the library all day, and each hour it felt like something new happened, like Ryerson, Ottawa. These are all Canadian universities. They were all closing their classes and going completely online. And by the end of the day, we all thought Guelph was gonna do the same, and eventually that's what happened. And we thought maybe classes would just go online, but the campus we'd still be able to go to gym and different food stuff, but everything it was just crazy. It was like we were in a time warp. It just happened so quickly, but
Wow.
that was the Thursday, and then we packed up on the Saturday and came home, and yeah.
Like did somebody pick you up or do you have a car or somebody drove
My
up?
roommate and I we both live in the area, so
Yeah.
we both carpooled here, but it was just like, we couldn't believe we were driving home because of a pandemic. Like, it was just
Yeah.
mind-boggling, honestly.
Kind of unreal, right?
Yeah, but then
Oh,
it was transition to go from you're in class, doing group projects with my group members in person, but to have to switch that to go online, it was just it was
wow.
hard. But
Yeah. No, I totally get it. And Jenna, sometimes it still happens to me that, you go along. I mean, I still go to work or I work in the yard and suddenly it just hits you like, oh my God, what is going on? Right?
it's hard to believe, like I keep mentioning, it's different being up here, so we're a little isolated from the actual like heart of the problem, but we still see the effects that it has on
Yeah. So what's going on the island? People wearing masks when they go out?
people. I have seen wear masks when they go visit. Well, not really visiting, but sometimes people need jobs done and stuff, so there
Mhm.
are precautions being made at the local store here. they have the screens set up, and there's only allowed 2 people in the store at a time. I mean, with
Okay.
250 people, they're, you know, the
Yeah.
numbers are lower, but yeah, it's different. Actually, there is a reserve in, I believe it's Thunder Bay, and when the ice was, when the lake was frozen, they actually thought about tearing apart the ice road to avoid people coming and going because they wanted to totally isolate themselves from.
Wow. Yeah. So on Bear Island, are people allowed to come on and visit, or?
No, so you have to be a resident of Bear Island to even just come on the land. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and when people leave, like let's say, I remember when we talked last, your dad went down to Guelph to pick up all your stuff because you didn't know at that point whether you would go back or not, right?
Yeah, he had to, and I was stuck on the island because of breakup, so he had to go move all my stuff out, but he quarantined just from coming back from Guelph. Like he wasn't even out of state, but he felt like to the service of the people in Temagami that he should just quarantine himself, even just coming from a city.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. And you told me earlier when your uncle and your aunt came back, they used your home in Temagami because this on Bay Island is your second home to
yeah.
quarantine, right?
Yeah, so my cousin actually went to school in California, and so when they flew back, they had to quarantine. They were it was mandatory for them to quarantine.
Right.
So quarantine in our house for 2 weeks, and while they were there, we came up here, and then my uncle Tommy came from Florida in his house, so they had to stay an extra 2 weeks. So we were out of our house for 4 weeks
Wow.
the quarantine in, but we were stuck up here, and then by that time breakup happened, so we've been up here for a while.
Wow. So, and you were talking earlier that you know, when the ice was still, um, do you say the ice was still in or out? I don't know. Was it in or out? In probably, right? So when the ice was still on the lake was still frozen, you could snow ski and skidoo. And I know your friend Allie, they actually came up from Toronto. They lived in Toronto, right? And the whole family came, or I know she and her mom came to quarantine on their island.
They did,
And you
yeah.
told me you could skidoo over there like in 5 minutes, and it took you how long to walk over there or ski?
About 20 minutes to ski over.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it was great being able to just go out with her and have that company up here, because even though you are supposed to social distance from people, I think it's important to also have to make sure you're mentally, you know,
Yeah.
and yeah. So
Yeah.
it was nice to have just at least one friend up here, you know. To
Absolutely. And Allie is great. So the next question that I have is, now that the water, I mean the ice is out,
Yeah.
what do you do? Like, what are you doing the whole day? I know your mom works and your school is out. Yeah. So you studied online for till the semester was over, right?
Until the middle of April, maybe April 14th, I was finished.
Okay. And you took exams online and
Yes, actually, so my exams, they were online, so it was same idea, and I was being recorded the whole time. And actually, the one time I would hear skidoos driving by, and every time I would look away, my screen would flash at me because they don't want people cheating. So if your face isn't like this, they think, you know, something's
oh my
happening.
God. So that wasn't on Zoom though. I've never heard it seen it flash. No.
Yeah, it was a different program, but yeah, they were recording me. But yeah, I finished middle of April, so I got to do those winter sports. And then now that the ice is gone, I have the boat in the water. I've been doing lots of raking, um,
Raking?
raking around the yard, doing bushwork and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've been fishing.
Oh, I remember you sent me this amazing picture. Do you have that picture for us?
I can find it.
So you have a picture for us?
I do. So once a week or once a year, these fish called white suckers, they come into the stream and there's tons of them. And what they do, they're bottom feeders. So
Uh-huh.
they eat on pickerel eggs and such. So if they eat lots of pickerel eggs, the fishing season wouldn't be very good. So what
Oh,
we do is we go to these streams and essentially try to kill lots of these white suckers.
yeah.
So I went spearfishing.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's a picture you sent me, right?
Yeah, and I actually that's with one spear, and I luckily got two of them.
That is amazing. That must have felt, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not like really for killing, but I mean, like that must have felt so great. Get two?
It was a lot of fun. So yeah,
Oh,
it's been great now that the ice is gone. I mean, the middle when you're stuck on the island, it's you run out of things to do after
yeah.
like hiking and stuff like that. But once the water's open, the land is our oyster, so it's nice.
Yeah, it's great. And you sent me a picture because you were down the lake where our place is, and the tree was
Oh,
down. So I'm really happy you did that, and everything. To hear, there must have been a big storm, but that everything else is fine is just
everything
great to
else is
know.
fine. Yeah, it takes me about 25 minutes to get down to your place. I timed it, so.
Well, great. That's good to know. It's good to know. So, so you're there now. You're going to be there for the summer. But you also, so you have a place in town, and do you like like do you go into town often, or?
I really, really enjoy being up the lake. So any chance I get, I was in town actually yesterday,
Oh, okay.
and I could have stayed there, but I just something about being up here is just yeah.
Yeah.
I,
And the view you have is just amazing too.
yeah, I just
So,
any chance I get, I'd rather be up here.
yeah.
So.
And you do, as we know, we wouldn't be Zooming if you didn't have internet. So you have internet and TV and all the modern stuff.
We do. So it's not as remote as some cottages, but
Ah, she's winking at me. I don't have electricity. So yeah.
yeah, but it's semi cottage. It's in between cottage and like home. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it's great. And but it's still great to live like on the lake like we do without electricity. I enjoy that too.
oh
No
my,
internet.
water. It's just
Yeah. Yeah. So it's great.
it.
Well, Jenna, this was so wonderful to know how other people I had a friend from Germany who
Mhm.
zoomed in with us and was talking about the situation in Germany. We had somebody from Mark's brother. He lives or actually was stranded in Argentina.
Stranded.
Stranded, yeah. They went there from Nicaragua on vacation, and they couldn't leave the country because they didn't leave, no traveling was possible. So yeah, but actually they are in an Airbnb, and they are happy that they were stranded because Argentina is so much safer than Nicaragua.
Oh,
And I think the residents will be interested in that too. They totally deny that anything is happening. Totally deny it. Like there are no cases there. But it's not true, obviously. But
oh, hiding it sort of.
yeah, they're hiding it, and the president won't speak to the people. People just die in hospitals, and when the relatives come the next day, they're already buried and they don't know where. I mean, it's just like they're trying to hide everything. So it's horrible, horrible. But so they are happy that they got stranded in Argentina because Argentina had some of the strictest measurements, has a very few cases. So for example, they weren't allowed to go out at all. They could go to the grocery store. They couldn't go out walking, nothing. They could go to the grocery store, and depending on their ID number, so all the people have ID cards or the passports, if the
Yeah.
last number was an even number, they were allowed to go out, let's say Tuesday and Thursday. If it was an odd number, they were allowed to go out Monday, just grocery shopping.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, they were very, very strict. And can you imagine, they were stranded. They didn't even have a laptop. They had a, they had their iPad and had their phone. And anyway, so yeah, I mean,
Company.
say it again.
Just each other's company.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then you're in an Airbnb and you don't have your own clothing and you can't, I mean, you don't have many clothing. I mean, it's winter now in Argentina, winter time down there. So, but I think it's just really interesting in general how people live and what's going on, but especially during this time.
Yeah, different places and how it differs, right?
Yeah, it's incredible. Incredible. So I'm glad we're all safe. I'm glad you're happy. I can't wait to see you and come up and,
I can't wait for the borders to open. Hopefully
oh my God, don't even mention that they're not open yet. I mean, I hope they will. So that's another thing. Yeah, the borders are closed. People that live in Canada and actually have a place in the US can't go, and the other way around. And I totally understand. We have to be safe.
that's how it spreads.
Yeah.
Geez.
So anyway, anything else that we have missed that we haven't talked about?
Um,
Like, like, you know, like you said, I mean, this is different. You're out in kind of in the rural area and then, on a small island on the lake. And when you go out, I mean, when you're in your boat, you don't see anybody, right?
no,
So,
barely.
and you have no cases, obviously.
No cases up here. No,
Yeah.
I'm just doing day by day. I like to live life by looking forward to something every day, week, and month. So, as
Oh, that's great. So what are you looking forward during the day? I mean, I love that life philosophy. That's great.
yeah, well, during the day, I pick one event that I'm excited for, say like gunneling or going out in the canoe.
Yeah.
And just paddling around. And during the week, it may be like going on a big adventure. And then in the month, hopefully the borders will open. Yeah, I just always like you want to have something to look forward to.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
You look like a very happy and joyful young woman, and I know you are, and your smile is just beautiful. And I'm glad I saw you here for, I don't know how long we were on this little Zoom call, and I'm just looking forward to seeing you in person again. And well, I think we're going to say goodbye. And
Okay.
I know the residents will enjoy hearing what you say and enjoy seeing your beautiful face. And the next time you come and visit in St. Petersburg,
Yeah, maybe they'll recognize me.
yes, they will recognize you. And maybe you could do a little event and talk about your life in person. How about that?
I would love that.
That'd be great. Okay, Jenna.
Okay.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.